Stardew Valley, the premier indie farm life sim, was a game that I just couldn't get into for the longest time. I'd instead play what I thought were similar games, such as Core Keeper, thinking that Stardew was just a farming simulator with some primitive combat. But I was completely wrong. With Stardew's 1.6 update, I reluctantly let myself get dragged back into the valley by my friends to give it another try. But this time, I ended up completely hooked. So, what exactly is it that makes Stardew so good? Let's talk about my experience. The core of Stardew's gameplay revolves around the in-game time. You have a set amount of time in a day, and will literally pass out at 2 AM sharp. When this happens, if you're anywhere but in your own home, you will literally get mugged under the grounds of a medical emergency. You also have a set amount of energy every day, and once exhausted, attempting to perform more energy-consuming actions also makes you pass out. Energy can be restored in various means, such as relaxing in the spa or eating food, but these are either not available or just not sustainable in the early game. In my several initial attempts to play this game, these two elements made it very difficult for me to enjoy it. I felt it was too restricting to get anything done, and I couldn't spend too much time venturing out because I'd have to make it back home in time. Back then, I just wanted to unga-bunga explore and progress, but that wasn't the right mindset to have with this game. As I was burnt out with other games, I took the game a bit slower in order to appreciate all the other features more. One of the first quests you receive is to introduce yourself to every villager. This is easier said than done. On all my other attempts to play this game, I never actually finished this. That's because villagers aren't always in the same places. They have their own schedules that vary depending on the day, season, and weather. This incentivizes you to explore the town and learn about the villagers, where they like to spend their day, and when they aren't locked up in a private area. Especially after you start picking up their randomly posted quests, it becomes important to plan out your daily routine, something I'm terrible at IRL but found rather enjoyable in Stardew. I would tend my farm, do my morning rounds, and then collect items I needed before returning to town a bit early to catch the NPCs I needed to talk to before they went to bed for the day. I believe there's a fine line in games where realism becomes annoying, but here it felt rewarding. Optimizing and planning a daily routine ahead of time were definitely not the gameplay elements I thought I'd be dealing with. Though, speaking of optimizing, this game has an extraordinary amount of optimization that can be done. Between automating tedious tasks such as watering and harvesting crops, to preserving or aging your produce to increase the value, or investing resources to gather more resources, Stardew really tickles the automation and efficiency happy parts of the brain. Yes, I'm the kind of person who will happily grind hours for the promise of not having to spend a minute watering my crops every morning. Now, I think a lot of the charm of the game is tackling it at your own speed, and especially as a new player, I'm sure I'm doing all sorts of things quote-unquote inefficiently, but knowing I could take steps to optimize my own routines is empowering and makes it feel great to grind towards my goals. Aside from the typical farm management bits, my favorite part of Stardew has to be the NPCs. The world is actually quite immersive. As I previously mentioned, all NPCs have their own schedules with some variations depending on the day, weather, and season. While these are mostly static, and you could technically just pull up the wiki to generally find out where someone will be on a certain day, there's enough variation out there to make it feel fresh. There are also some dynamic interactions, such as villagers recoiling at you searching through the trash, or admiring your habits of eating mayonnaise in public. On top of this, you can date and even marry NPCs. And all the NPCs in town will have different reactions to when you start dating someone and or get married. Yes, I understand that the interactions are limited and Abigail won't hate me for missing the Egg Festival, but dang, do I feel bad when I miss things like that. And also, I can't help but to give her something to eat every time she has that dialogue line about forgetting to bring snacks. Call me a roleplay nerd, but I just can't help it. The game's immersion is too strong sometimes. And Abigail totally deserves the best. So, this has been my addiction for the past couple weeks. I'm surprised that I slept on this game for so long. Just like the in-game story, it was very refreshing to take a break from themes and enjoy the farm life. If you're ever feeling burnt out from something, I definitely recommend this game as a good way to chill. The craziest thing about this game is that the entire game, including the graphics and soundtrack, were all made by one person. It's kinda gotten me inspired to want to pick up some game dev again, though it's hard to find the time for that when I want to make content as well. Speaking of content, there's definitely some stuff cooking on the horizon, so please look forward to it. I'm sorry if things have been a little slow lately. There's just not that much content I've been motivated to cover recently. But we'll have Twayan in Relink soon, and hopefully more to come. I'll see you guys then! Bye bye!